Hey y'all, I know videos are getting farther and farther apart. Mark's raspberry bush, it's still alive. I just picked a raspberry for him. He said it was tart. Um, my fall sunflowers are starting to pop up, but the birds didn't eat. So I've got a bunch of sunflowers that have come up. We just got done feeding. So I did get more kohlrabi replanted for Mark. Tomato plant that started growing up through the borage. Don't know what type it is yet. Mark came out and picked a bunch of hot peppers yesterday. So we got to make more salsa. So, and the humidity is back. Blah. Okra is slowly dying. We picked a handful yesterday, and there's more kohlrabi. And over here, these guys are getting big, and these tomatoes are falling up over the edge. So, and as you can see, we have yet to kill the freaking vole. We have tried everything, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm just going to keep trying to flood them. Tired of wasting money. But, yep. So, I did thin out these kohlrabis. Believe it or not, finally got it done. So, but Mark should have enough kohlrabi to take us all the way into end of fall. But yeah, these tomato plants are full. These are all the ones that, we started from broken limbs. Peppers are completely full. Again, even though you can't tell, he came out and and picked. Potatoes starting to come up. I did pull all the small sweet potatoes, and this one, the Bogarts, the Japanese purples aren't ready yet, so they take a little bit longer. Jicama's coming along. My biggest pumpkin to date I've ever grown, and since we've been here, is turning almost completely orange. I do have two new ones on here. Here's the itty bitty baby one, and that funky one. It's growing funky. And then my yellow two-tones are finally, some are starting to shape. This one's got a good pumpkin shape, and so does that one. These, not so much. As you can tell, it's a good thing we got the sunflowers, the ones that did survive the vole, staked, because their heads are so huge. And they just started drooping. I'm trying to get a view without stepping on my new sunflowers. And even my multi-heads are starting to droop. So as you can see, got all those lots and lots and lots of sunflowers. So by Halloween, I should have a nice haunty-ish looking scene. The tomatoes, the voles have taken out a couple more. I'm at this point, like I said, I'm done battling them, done wasting money. Everything we tried does not work. So I'm just keeping what's alive. I mean, we picked probably maybe 75 so far in the last few days. So when Sherry eats are getting full and turning ripe. My orange bells are turning some more. And we did get a bunch of Carmen's and my Jimmy Nordells. Those ones are getting ready to be picked because I need to make one more batch of Sherry Eats salsa, but at restaurant style, basically puree it because Justin and Kayla and a few other family members don't like it chunky. So I have to use my emulsifier. And then Sherry, don't touch, eat the killias, or you can't, like I said, you can't tell. He came through and picked. They are full. You can't tell. We had those 3 Mexican ladies come over 2 weeks ago that just went through here and just, they took home, 6 big old bags full. So, but yeah, they are full of everything. So, yep. The habaneros, Mark and I made sure we saved some of these 4 plants habaneros because they got so huge and we wanted to make sure. But this next rounds that are coming out, they're about the size of everybody the other ones. They're not gigantic like the first 3 or 4 rounds that we picked. So it was weird. So, but oh well, they're still putting out. And I can say, these super chilies we got, we only really need 1 or 2 plants. They just keep putting out and putting out. They're like jalapenos. So, and then Tabasco, this sucker just keeps going and going. It took us 4 years to finally get Tabasco to go. And they're full. They just keep going. And these ones, the Mexican lady said they were sweet, but they're hot to me. But, you know, anything that's capsaicin is hot to me. But that's how everything's going. On the sunflower that the squirrel knocked over and about killed, all her heads have opened up. But they've got a bunch more starting, so which makes me happy. So as long as it keeps going. And then Mexican sunflower, this part here I've been letting the birds eat, and then I'll be trimming them once the seeds are gone. And then a whole bunch, another limb that broke off, it took root and it's growing down there. So I haven't got any to start yet. So my goal is to work on it all winter. That way I know I have plenty, because that way I don't have to buy. All right, go inside the jungle. Yep, the flowers I'm just letting them grow and grow. So, and most of my milkweed seed pods have opened up, and I collected a bunch and then let the wind take the bunch. Still no fruit on these so-called English cucumbers. I was hoping I'd get to seeds, that way if it's not a cucumber, because if you know, but I don't think it is, because look, I think it's oh, there it is. I think it's some type of squash, and I'll have to tell 62 Nursery, tell BJ that it wasn't English, it was a squash. I think one of her little helpers labeled it wrong. So, I mean, I do have some cucumbers I know are cucumbers because I planted them, but that's the only fruit that's shown up. And these leaves are big, and the flowers are big, so I'll have to go, now that I finally seen that fruit. I have to let BJ know. She's the owner. So maybe she can give me, you know, some cucumbers next year. Basil, I collected some more, but I'm just letting it go to see flower, because all the bees are loving it. Anybody know what type of hornets or wasps these are? I've never seen them before. And so, what? I'm moving. The bumblebees too, and oh, look at one on that feeder there. We had about 20 hummingbirds back here yesterday. I filled the feeders up twice because we've got everybody migrating, and so it was just like buzzing around and wings flapping and tweeting. We just filled up all the feeders again. So, but this is how the Sherry Eats look. Okay, this is not cayenne. I totally forgot. Mark and I had also got another a non-hot. But I forgot about it until we were organizing all our seeds last weekend. And I went, oh shit, those aren't cayennes. They're called kabakis. They're from Turkey. They're a frying pepper. So I thought they were cayennes, because dummy me, lost the tag. So these ones here and the ones in the old garlic bed, those ones are already turning red. I've got to have Mark taste it to see if it's hot or not. But so I had 2 new hots this year, non-hots. But I had something break this off. It wasn't one of the caterpillars. It was a bird or something because the whole thing was snapped off. But I'll let you know. And then I did get some new seeds called Listia or something. Somebody had told me about them. I did find the seeds for Baker Creek, so I'm going to be growing those next year too. But I'll let you know about those ones. But my nadapenos are full. They are getting ready to be made into salsa for the kids. So, because I already got mine and Mark's salsa already done. Because we like it chunky. Because I use it in my chili and making tacos with it and stuff. So, but the snow eats, yeah. That jigsaw, it's still putting out. We did save seeds from it. So, but I've noticed it loses some of its really pretty, shiny, and different 3-4 colors the older it gets. But I really liked that silver when it was young. There's another super chili. Like I said, we're only going to need 2 of those next year. But yeah, I'm letting those some Arizonas down there. I'm letting the birds eat some, but I've already got so many seeds. So another one on the feeders. You can probably hear them chippering away. They're waiting. They don't like it when I'm over here unless I'm filling the feeders. So, and the herbs, my pineapple sage, I've already collected enough that I need because I've got so much of it. I'm letting it go to flower now because the bees and hummingbirds like it. Only thing more that I'll be harvesting for herbs will be my sweet marjoram, my thyme, and my oregano because I got plenty of chives. I've got plenty of sage still. So, but yeah, that's how the this side's looking. These 3 tomatoes are from the broken branches from that big storm that knocked everything over. And they're full of tomatoes. So they're good size too. So I'm hoping they're either going to be Cherokee purple or white or black grim. So that's because well, this one, that one's a German. I could tell you right now by looking at the leaves. Yep. This half is German. This one and this one are probably purples. Whites. No, whites would already start to turn. So, Crim or Cherokee purple. I've lost a lot more of these. The Amishes are just dying out. Amishes are such finicky. You can't tell that I came through and cleaned it last weekend. I spent about 4 hours out here, but I got all the branches on the ground still. But yeah, the milkweed, it is slowly. Oh, I've got more pods. Ooh, more aphids. I need to crush those. Thing is, with having this type of milkweed, it really attracts all these aphids. And I've only had to spray once this year for aphids on my tomatoes because the aphids rather go to the milkweed. But I put on rubber gloves and I just sit here and I crush them all. So I'll have to do that. I didn't notice that while I was feeding. So, and it wasn't like that yesterday. So I'll get my gloves on, and they're blue nitro gloves. Make sure there's no caterpillars. It looks like all aphids. And and by the time I'm done crushing them all, my gloves will look purplish. So this Mexican sunflower, it's slowly putting out more flowers, which is good because the bumblebees like it. This is, usually it's the zinnias and the Arizonas that the bees absolutely love, but they just went to town on these Mexican sunflowers this year. That's why I'm saying I've got to plant more. You're a good size one. So my purple cones, they only bloomed really once this year. I'm a little sad on that. I didn't reseed it fresh seeds this year. I mean, I put the heads in there and crushed some of the heads off, but the birds could have eaten that. I do have a new moonflower. Surprisingly, it's down there. And it should be opening up either tonight or tomorrow night. So I'll have to come out and look. I'm not sure what this tomato is. It's like I said, it's another one that from when we had those bad storms, and I just stuck it in there. So, like these ones here, not sure what they are. Where I had a free bucket, and where they're getting good sun, because you can see quite a few of these Amishes are done. But I have put in, like right here, what was left of the broken branches. I treated it and then put them in. So I've got like 4 or 5 like that. So, and then more jicama. The flowers are dying off. The pods are starting to turn brown a little bit. So we've got about another month and a half, 2 months, and then ready to harvest that. Like I said, you can see the voles. I just been flooding them. But that's how my late fall into winter part, where I just let everything grow instead of, I don't mow back here, right here anymore, or weed whack it. I just grow it into a jungle. Only thing different is come mid-November, depending. Usually if it starts to turn cold right around Mark's anniversary, we'll move this feeder up front. But if it is a warm first part of November, we'll leave it back here, because as long as I can get back here without sinking in mud, we'll leave it back here. But by Thanksgiving, it will be moved out front, so I can get them trained there. But you can see all the little sunflowers started. I have probably taken about 50 good sized ones out of here and replanted them in pots. So, and you can sweet potatoes growing through the fence. So I'll try not to crush my sunflowers. But yeah, that usually keeps the birds and bees happy all through late fall into winter. So as you can see, like, why are you buzzing me over here? And yep, it's all grown through here. So, and then lemongrass. Person that usually likes to come harvest it didn't do it this year, so I just grew it and letting it grow, let the bugs have it. So, but yep, that's how everything's looking. So yeah, we've been fighting the damn vole all freaking growing season. Like the last few years, all we had to do, it didn't show up until fall. But dealing with it from the get-go has just been exhausting. And if we sell the rental, that means my in-ground is done. And so I told Mark that we're going to do something different. Like, because if we do sell the rental house, only about 2.5, 3 feet back here is ours. So we're going to be moving this over here to this side, which we know is along the fence this way. But we have a bunch of chicken wire, and I told Mark I want to do is lay the chicken wire like halfway on the ground and then bend it up and then put all the compost on it so it can't tunnel underneath. If it does, it gets stuck. So we'll probably be moving the garlic bed right through here. This part here, and then I'm not sure if I want to till any of this here, or I just do like if I don't till it, we're gonna go ahead and bring out some buckets out through this way, and maybe do peppers on this side and some tomatoes, and then a little bit on the front. But I want to show you how tall my Canaan lilies are. They are, like I said, taller than the roof on this side. And they just keep putting out more growth, more growth. The bees absolutely love it. The hummingbirds love them. So, yep, they're as tall. And until we get a first hard freeze, they'll keep going. I do have, let's see, my elderberry I trimmed back, but it started regrowth. My lemon tree is doing okay. So, but one of my dahlias that did survive, I do have a bunch of sunflowers that are just starting for the birds dropping, but all these containers I put seeds in. That way I have for through the fall. And my fig tree's looking good, so, which is good. So, I mean, because I'll be bringing that in this winter, but yep, these ones are not as tall as the roof on this side, but they're doing good. I did get that one pumpkin, but I gave it to the little next here, and I've been watering and feeding, so it's growing into their yard. So hopefully it will give him a pumpkin, but if not, I gave her one on that. So, but you can see we've got so much new growth in here, and yeah. But I will probably do line up buckets, because the hose can come up to like where that tree is right there. Fits, I can get it up there, so we'll probably do like 3 or 4 rows out here in buckets. So, which means I have to go buy more buckets. Oh, my new pretty, my Bronco. I'm loving it. I do have more Canaan lilies, like I said. I'm going this way. That we threw into the fire pit because they were all mushy and they were moldy. Well, they're starting to flower. You can tell we didn't do any fire pits this year. I'm actually going to dig these guys up and get them in some pots, so I'll have them for my Halloween decoration. But excuse the mess. Jars my friend just gave me, so yep, I got to get those clean, but that's how everything is. And I hope your guys' garden is doing well. I will keep you updated. As you know, it's fall, so unless something major happens, it's not going to be every week. It all depends how I feel. With the humidity back, I don't know. At least with I'm not having to mow every week now because we've been in a drought. But you guys have a good September, and I'll see you in a week or so. Bye.